Okay, going live. Oh, whew, I forgot. Hmm.
Hey, oh, hey, yeah, oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to our 36th episode in our fourth year of Mind and Money Matters live show. It is so exciting. Every time these numbers jump up each and every year, it gets more and more and more exciting. Like we are actually doing this. We are in our month of Ministry of Health and Human Services. We're representing the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And we have come together to bring to you information from business owners who are sharing their best and worst practices so that we can avoid the pitfalls and benefit from the wisdom of their success. And do we have a show for you today? Oh my God, it's absolutely awesome. We have Sister Dr. Jessica Muhammad, and we look so forward to bringing her to you. But before we do that, we're going to bring up our guest co host, Brother Jahi, Mr. Communicator Muhammad. He is the human GPS fact finder, organizer, personnel organizer, and trainer. He is the founder and CEO of Falah Worldwide Seminars and Training and Proper Propaganda Promotions. He is the epitome of a researcher. He may not like that term, to be called or referred to as a researcher, but he is in fact that. He loves to get information. You can ask him about almost anywhere. I would say the planet, but definitely in the United States. Major cities where there's black folks, Brother Jahi knows where to go. So he is the one to bring to us the follow our worldwide word on the block. Brother Jahi, are you ready? Okay, he may not be ready just yet. So we're gonna bring on our dear sister Sandy Beauford Muhammad, and I already botched that term, Brother Jahi gave her because he's also our very own logo pal. He gives us all these vocabulary words and shares with us. Oh, there he
There
is.
he
Okay,
is.
so
There
good.
he
He's
is in
here.
the
I
street.
don't have to mess it up, y'all. I don't have to mess it up because I was gonna say ergo kinesiologist, kinesthetic. I don't know.
That's it. It's in the family.
Oh, it's
Assalamu alaikum.
okay. Praise be to Allah. Go ahead, brother Johnny.
Assalamu alaikum, business scientists. Welcome back to another episode of the definitive podcast for Black business bodaciousness. Ooh, excuse me. And what's the other term? Black business bodaciousness, and I don't want to excellence. And there's another word that we came up with. What is it? Brilliance. That's it. Black business, bodaciousness, and brilliance. You are in for a treat. We thank you all so much. Remember, go ahead and share this. We have phenomenal guests all the time, but especially tonight. And for those who are in the younger category, you definitely want to share this with your peers. This particular episode, but word on the block, a word on the street. There's so much going on. Number one, without getting your Final Call newspaper, you're being left behind. So make sure you subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. You can go to finalcalldigital.com. Finalcalldigital.com. That way it will appear in your box every week on your tablet, on your cell phone, on your computer, however you want to receive it electronically. Look at that. Look at those vibrant colors. Still striking at the NFL. So, there's a great debate going on, great dialogue going on about the role that you and I are going to play in this whole situation. So get your issues of the Final Call, not just one copy. Subscribe by going to finalcalldigital.com. Also, it's the middle of the month, so have you made your contribution to economicblueprint.org? 5 cents a day, 35 cents a week. Man, I'm almost embarrassed to say those numbers, because it's so small. All of us, it's not even a sacrifice. We can't even say sacrifice. All of us can make that contribution and not even think twice about it. Think about it, only 16 million of us contributed $18.20 a year to this economic blueprint.org that will give us $291,200,000 per year, so we can buy land, and other resources that are needed in order for us to be a viable and sustainable community. 5 cents a day from you. So go to economicblueprint.org and make your contribution. Quick note on that, Sister Sandy and Sister Sharien. I am at a conference in Washington, D.C. I came across a gentleman yesterday that I met at another conference here 2 years ago. Sister Sandy, it's a compliance and ethics. So that's right down your boulevard in the legal field. Compliance and ethics conference. Long story, try to condense it. Anyway, this gentleman, when I met him 2 years ago at the compliance and ethics conference, he struck up a conversation with me because um, he noticed how I was dressed, just like this, suit and bow tie. So we got to talking. Come to find out, the guy was the president of the organization, of that compliance and ethics organization. So we talking, and he asked me, he said, "Are you on LinkedIn?" So I gave him my LinkedIn profile, and he looked me up while we were standing there. He saw my LinkedIn profile. He's like, "Oh wow, this is you." So we started talking about communications, right? Long story short, trying to condense this. While we were talking, this was 2 years ago. While we were talking, he said he was about to retire. He had been the leader of the organization for 24 years, and he was ready to do something else. So I said to him, "Have you written your book yet?" And he had this look in his face like, "A book? I'm not writing a. What am I going to write a book about?" And I told him, we had a nice conversation. I said, "Look, you would be," and I used the word I learned from Minister Jamil years ago. "You would be remiss in your duty to this organization if you did not write a book with the years of experience that you have. So yeah, you can write your book, then you can go off and do these other things." So he was looking at me. So every day we were at this conference for 5 days. Every day he made an effort to come and find me wherever I was, and we would talk for about 30, 35 minutes every morning. Fast forward, I was on LinkedIn. And I saw that this guy had indeed written his first book.
Wow.
He went ahead and wrote his book. So fast forward even more. I'm here at another conference, and that organization is here as well. I'm not at their conference, but I came across him. I went up to him, and he immediately recognized me. He said, "Hey, I know you." So I congratulated him on his book and everything. He said, "Yeah, I got that idea from you." I said, "Oh, I remember, but I was wondering if he remembered." And so, long story short, he wrote his book. He's continued to travel around the world talking about his perspective on compliance and ethical behavior uh, in various industries. And he said he's writing his second book. So he was like, "Make sure you contact me now, say, because I want to get your perspective on certain things." I said, "Yes, sir, I definitely will." So that was a highlight of my business trip this go around. You never know that the seeds that you plant in somebody, or just not casual conversation, but in a conversation, how others may pick up on that and actually run with it. So that's a powerful thing to see and to experience. I just want to share that little
That's an
tidbit.
awesome story. That's really good because that is a testimony to what you bring to the table in
That's
people's
right.
Right.
lives.
Well,
Absolutely.
well, thank you. All praise due to Allah. I see that too. For those who are listening, that may not know what it is that Master the Science of Business does, but that's exactly what we do. We sit with those. We consult with those. How you doing, sir? We consult with those who have ideas and are ready to move out on the idea. Um, so if you're one of those people and you looking for that what's the word I'm looking for? That's a word I'm looking for. But anyway, if you're looking for that extra oomph, contact us. Call Master the Science of Business so you can schedule your initial business strategy session. 404-438-3156, because we like these types of stories. And fortunately, we have several of these types of stories. We being Master the Science of Business, we have several of these types of stories where those have come to us with an idea, or they even may be in the movement stage. They're doing something, and that which we have to share with them help to elevate them to another level. So I thought you all would enjoy that little tidbit. So I know Sister Sandy has something coming up in a few
Yes.
in a few
Sandy has a
days
ton of things coming up.
that
She
is
got
designed to
not
do
only does
the
she have
same thing.
coming up, she's leaving out of other events. She just has her business is rocking and rolling. Go ahead, brother Jahi.
Oh no, you go ahead. I was just saying that. Yeah, she
I don't want to
her
botch up the name.
her
You gotta introduce her. You know.
oh, the our resident ergo kinesiologist, and there's another word, Sandy. I was thinking about for you based upon the conversation that we had last week, and I mean, doggone if it she's
You talking about that? What you talking about? You talking about that conversation? You ain't tell us about that story experience you had coming through the airport,
no,
boy.
not yet. We gotta work on that one. Then I'll talk about that one. But it was related to that. It's something that you said, and what you're a futurist, I guess. I'll put it like that for now. She's a futurist. But
Ah,
without any further delay, from Soul Wisdom International and the Inner Chambers Retreat. What did I remember? Did I say that? Inner Chambers Retreat,
yes, sir. Inner Chambers Women's Retreat.
Women's Retreat.
We not leaving the
Right.
brothers out, but we got you on next. You up next.
Yeah, you said that 3 years ago, but okay. From the Inner City,
I
Inner
promise
Chambers
you,
Women's
She
Retreat,
did. She
Sister
did a couple
Sandy
brother Jahi,
Beauford Muhammad.
thank you so much. Oh my God, y'all. Okay, so I got a couple of things that I want to say before I do my little spiel. Yes, it's the Inner Chambers Women's Retreat, which Brother Jahi is one of our advertisers. Oh my God, he's been blasting it out to everybody that he knows. I'm so grateful for that. Sister Shireen's been telling everybody she knows, and this is what the phenomenalness. Got my word again, y'all. I done made it up. The phenomenalness of partnerships, how important partnerships are. And I want to talk a little bit about that because Brother Jahi mentioned the economic blueprint plan and the numbers actually, which never dawned on me ever before, y'all. This is the first time it dawned on me. But when you said the 291, 200,000, 200 million people, instantly my numbers start calculating. That comes up to the number 6. 2, 9, and 1. That's 12, 13. No, that's 5. Hold on, y'all. See, I got prepared for the wrong thing. I got to properly get prepared. That's the number 5. So I wanted to bring some significance of the number 5. Did you know that the number 5 is commonly it's representative of all of humanity? It's the human beings have 5 fingers, 5 toes, 5 appendages, If the head is included, 5 senses, 5 major organ systems of the body. This represents independence. The number 5, versatility, rebellion, and a daring nature. So the economic blueprint, it's surrounding the number of people that we need to donate to this cause. And it calculates up to the number 5. I'm like, oh my God, I never knew that. I didn't know that. But it's so right on point that we are the foundation of our independence. That's what that number 5 represents. Independence. Wow. It's a complete system. It takes every last single one of us to complete that system. If we don't do it as a community, if we don't do it as a group effort, then we cannot be successful. So Brother Jahi every single week comes with the same information concerning building of community. It is so important. It is so important to develop partnerships. You cannot do it by yourself. If we've never said anything to you before, develop partnerships that can stretch you, that can expand you, that push you beyond your limits, and then also support you when you need to be supported. It is so important. So Brother Jahi, when you said that number, I'm like, why are those numbers standing out to me today? Because they add up to the number 5. Okay, so now let me get right on to to what it is that I wanted to share. Anybody want to give any feedback before I go on to what I wanted to share?
The only thing that pops out of my mind, and I'm just there, right?
Yes.
The number 5, because my numbers are 3, 5, 8. Right? And so I know that the 3 is expression.
Yes.
And 5, the minister's number is 5.
Check that out.
Yeah, I think his end number is 5. He might be 2, 3, 5. If I remember.
Yes.
But anyway, mine is 3, 5, 8.
Yes.
And so I had never heard that. You know, that description of the number 5.
Yes, ma'am. It's a powerful number.
It makes sense.
Yes, ma'am. It's a powerful. Think about it. We have 5 systems, 5 fingers, 5 digits, 5 systems in our physical body. Systems. Think about it. Systems is what runs everything. Without a system, you cannot be successful.
Now I'm thinking 9 systems or even 10. So you're saying that there's another breakdown of 5 major systems?
Yes, ma'am. There are 5 major systems. And I will tell you right now, the 5 major systems. Put your headphones on. No. All righty. Let me give them to you. Let me give them to you right now. Oh, we getting into something today.
We are. But we setting up for Sister Dr. Jessica.
Yes, didn't even realize that. All right, here we go. The 5 major systems: the respiratory system, the circulatory system, the human digestive system, the skeletal system, and the endocrine. Okay, hold on. Let's see. We got the circulatory, the digestive, the endocrine. There are more, but there are 5 major. 1, 2, 3.
So included in the endocrine is what?
Included in the endocrine system is all of the organs that secrete. Any organ that secretes something, like the liver, the gallbladder.
The liver, the gallbladder, the kidney.
Yes. Anything that secretes. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Here we go. Oh, the endocrine system is specifically responsible for hormones. Anything and all things concerning hormonal, if there's ever a hormonal balance, it's connected to the number 5, and it's connected to all of the organs that are included in the endocrine system. If your hormones are imbalanced, all you got to do is find the organ inside of the system that's malfunctioning, and when you can correct that, it corrects the hormonal imbalance. Ain't that something?
That, you know, it makes a whole lot of sense, because I'm thinking in terms of a business owner, and you know, when your hormones is imbalanced, it affects how you respond to people, how you respond to other stimuli.
Yes,
Um,
yes,
and
yes,
so
yes,
getting all of that in balance, I'm just really I'm really curious to know,
yes,
how does the five, how is it major over the nine? You know how, you know,
yes,
I
yes, ma'am.
study nine
So
systems and its relationship to the nine planets and the
yes, yes,
9
yes.
months and a cycle of birth, or you know, so I'm just a little curious about that.
So actually, there are a total of 11 major organ systems. There's
Hmm.
a total of 11.
Right,
And
but some of them are like
some of them are minor that
right,
feeds into
in
some
classes of something
that
else.
feeds into the other one.
Mhm.
But the major ones, let me repeat them again, make sure, and listen, anybody listening to this, if you feel differently, please inbox us at mtsobe at, oh no, forgive me, at mindmoneymatters at gmail.com. give
My
us
money
give
show.
us some feed. Yeah, mind money,
Show.
Sister Sharien, mind money
Money
show
show.
at gmail. We got a couple of email
I'll
boxes,
change my
y'all.
name to it.
mindmoneyshow at gmail.com. You wanna have a little conversation, you wanna come on the air. We like this little bantering back and forth, as Brother Jahi wanna call it. We like that. So come on the show, send us an email, let us know what you got. So this is what we're saying. You got
Is
the
it 5
nervous
systems?
system.
Is it 9 systems? Is it 11 systems? Is it, what is it?
And why is it? So we're saying the nervous system, the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, the respiratory system, and the digestive system. Those are the 5 major ones that I'm talking about. Although there are more, of course, but those are the 5 major ones that I was referring to with reference to the number 5.
Do you know what makes them major?
Yeah. Okay, so the nervous system. All right, so the nervous system is just like, that's the one that sends messages to every other aspect of the body. Without the nervous system, the lungs don't communicate with the nose, with the eyes, with the other organs of the body through the nervous system. Those are messages, right? Which is directly connected to the brain. So the nervous system is one of the most important systems because that's the messenger. If the messenger is out of whack, then don't nobody else know what they're supposed to be doing,
Mm.
right? So you got the nervous system, the endocrine system. The nervous system relies on the endocrine system. And this is where the electrical impulses go through the body to all of the other major organs. This also is the chemical messengers. The endocrine system is what the nervous system relies on to carry the chemicals throughout the body as the messenger. There's a chemical imbalance. There's too much of this. You're diabetic. You got too much sugar. You understand. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the endocrine system. Of course, the cardiovascular system. That system is usually referred to as the circulatory system. We know that's where the fluid, the life fluid flows through to all of the organs. So that's the life fluid, right? And then we got the respiratory system. And this is the throat and the lungs, the nasal cavities. That's what's included in the respiratory system. If you can't breathe through the pharynx, if you can't breathe, no breath, we know that means no life, right? So you got the respiratory system. And of course, last but not least, is the digestive system. When you eat to live, eating properly, it gives the blood what it needs so that then it can turn into energy so you and I can get up and move about and do the things that we need to do. So those are what they call the 5 major systems. Make sense?
Oh, it makes a ton of sense. I'm just thinking, why do I need to be concerned with all of that? And you know, I'm a business owner. I mean, I write books. I write children books. I have children apparel. You know, I focus on children in agriculture. So why do I need to be concerned about all this science? Sounds like, even though I'm excited because we're in the Ministry of Health and Human Services, right? So we are kind of talking about Sister Dr. Jessica's subject matter. She's
yes, ma'am.
a neurologist, and
Yes.
so we're talking about her topic. But I can
Yes.
she needs to know that. I want to know, why do I need to know that when I'm writing about plants and gardening and
do you know that plants have systems as well? Plants actually have a nervous system.
Really?
When you have a plant, as an example, if you were to have a beautiful plant and it's been growing in this environment for a very long time, you take that plant, you've got to relocate to a whole nother state. You transport that plant to a whole nother environment. Do you know that even plants, because I've witnessed this myself, I love plants. Plants even go into shock. They actually have a nervous system. They may not grow the same way that they grew in another environment. They have to get readjusted. And also, if you look at a leaf, you see the little lines inside of a leaf. That's the leaf's nervous system. That's how the leaf gains its nutrients, through the absorption of water, through the absorption of the sun rays. So plant life has a nervous system. All animal life has a nervous system, has a digestive system, has a way that fluid, the nutrient, has to go through it. Plants do the same thing. Has to absorb the nutrients, has to absorb the water and send it to the other areas. We call those sentinels.
Right.
You know what a sentinel is? We study about that. That's what a sentinel is. A sentinel takes the information and disseminates it.
Right. Passes it
on. That's the nervous system. That's an endocrine system. It's information being transferred from one organ to another organ inside of the plant life, inside of plants. It's moving. Information is moving. We got too much water. We don't have enough water. It's the same system. It's amazing.
So now that makes sense, because now I'm thinking, okay, if I haven't had enough water, my body gets thirsty. I feel the sensation of thirst. And now I'm like, okay, I need to get something to drink.
Absolutely.
Now, when of course, I can lend to this a little bit, because when you know that it's better for me to drink water if I have not had enough for the day than to drink soda, which I never need to drink, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And so many of us have been conditioned to grab a soda. We fell for the hype of, quench your thirst and get the,
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Soda, and now we are coming down with all kinds of conditions because of it.
Yes, ma'am.
As a business owner, because and I bring this up because I was out having dinner. My home is in disarray.
Yes, ma'am.
Contractors remodeling the kitchen and other areas of the home, and so I didn't have access to my kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
I went out to get a salad. Went to a salad bar. Went to get a salad, and where I was positioned, I was in earshot of someone who was speaking about their properties, and they had their inheritance. They had inherited some property that they were reaping benefits from. They were in the process of purchasing additional property, had purchased additional property already on top of their inheritance. And now that is definitely a better angle. And now, and now they are in the process of acquiring new property. And as I glanced over at this individual, it was apparent that the individual was gravely ill.
Wow.
Wow. And was sitting at the bar attempting to drink what looked like to be a second gigantic glass of beer. I say gigantic because it just looked like, like they don't even give you that much of, you ask for a glass of water They don't give you this like tall. I don't even know how many ounces that is in there. But anyways, he was not able to finish it. And he was rubbing his hands and rubbing on his ankles. He was obviously swollen. He looked like he was full of fluid. And I'm thinking to myself, this brother has amassed what sounds like wealth, that he inherited and that he is looking forward to passing on to his lineage.
Right.
Look what it appeared to be ahead of time. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
he could have so much more life if he knew how to eat to live.
Yes, ma'am.
If he knew how to just refrain from the poisons that are offered to us. You
Yes, ma'am.
know? So I just say, as business owners, it's so important to get into the book How to Eat to Live. I know there's other things out there. I mean, there's kale shops popping up everywhere. I don't know what the new craze is, because kale is what I was last summer. So
Mm,
it'd be something else,
yes,
um,
yes.
because the other thing is, what do they call that stuff? That's it's like the fake meat. Some
Soy.
it's a new meatless meat thing that they got out now, and it's in a packaging that is very deceiving because it looks natural, organic. They use like the
Yes.
paper tone color, the brown paper bag color, the
Yes.
natural lettering. I think it's like a greenish and brownish looking lettering, which brings your mind to nature, like you have nature behind you. Colors
Right.
that you see is brown and green, and so those are the colors of the exactly what's in that background are the colors
Mm-hmm.
in packaging of
Yes,
this meat.
ma'am.
And everyone is like, crazed about getting that in the name of being vegan, which is
Right.
not the teachings. So we have to be mindful of the slinking devil.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, that's no other way to call it. It is what it is.
It's slinking, we always talk, parse, if there's anyone that's offended by that name slinking, it's not necessarily a derogatory name. Slinking simply means that it slides and it slithers on its stomach, which means
Right.
when it comes to you, it's not in an upright manner, kind of telling you, like, here I am, here, I'm getting ready to come. So don't
Mhm.
take offense to that term. It's just that they're on their belly coming up to you, which means you are usually not aware of it. So
Right.
that's simply what that means. That's simply
Right.
slinking snake-like manner. That's
Right.
all that
Right.
is.
That's all that means. And many are falling for it.
Yes, ma'am.
you know, because it's supposedly this, new meat. Anything that's processed
Mm.
is no good, right?
As
Anything
as
that's
my husband say, if it don't come out the dirt off the tree, then it's just not the best for us. I mean, and that's just true. And we all can choose. You know what I mean? We all
Mhm.
can choose. We're not perfect, but we
That's
are
right.
surely to give you the information that can help you to live life. And we do our best because you can see these beautiful faces. Look at Sister Sharien. Look at Brother Jahi.
Inshallah.
All praises are due to Allah.
Yes,
So
yes,
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 ma'am.
yes,
So
yes.
look,
But I
we
like I
look,
like the
we
fact that
done
you
talked
say
about
we're not perfect, because it's true. But what we
absolutely.
do is we
Yes.
strengthen each other. So when I
Yes,
slip
yes.
and I'm like, oh, I want them French fries, and you might not say, do you really need those French fries?
Right,
But
right,
you
right,
might
right, right.
remind me, well, what I'm having is some broccoli and carrots.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
and then I'm like, okay, I don't really need to have those French fries.
Praise be to
Certainly not
Allah.
every day, you know.
Yes,
Praise
ma'am.
to Allah. But just to be mindful of all of these things that's coming out, and as business owners, the things that can hinder us from doing our business and doing it effectively is our health.
Yes,
Your
yes. Oh
health
my God. That is
is
so key,
nothing.
Sister Sharien.
Can't function. So
Food is life.
food is life.
Food
So
is
I want to share
life.
this screen, Sister Sandy, because I know you can walk us through.
Ah, praise be to Allah.
Yes. I know
Yes, yes, yes.
this mind-blowing, in-depth session.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So, yes, this is Soul Wisdom International. One of the partners, well, this one is from my heart. I don't know how many people know my background, but it led me to really desiring to help people. So you see the name and the webpage of Soul Wisdom International. And we
Now, how did it
specifically,
lead you? How did it lead you?
oh wow. Okay, Sister Sharien. Sister Sharien want me to go there. She want me to talk today.
Brother
All
Jahi,
right.
do we have 5 more minutes? Because Sister Sandy is Health and Human Services. So I just want to make sure, do we have 5 more minutes? But I think we do. You know, so
Oh yeah, we good.
oh, okay. Praise be to Allah. So yeah,
Praise be to
tell us,
Allah.
how did your business, that was your
Mm,
main business prior to this, lead you
mm.
into the desire to help? And then in what
Yes.
way did you want to help? Because everything is helping.
Wow.
What you were doing before was helping people.
Yes, yes.
The other business helps people, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah.
Okay.
So my profession for the last 28 years, May made 28 years, has been as a court reporter, stenographer, sitting in the courtroom in depositions and board meetings, in town hall meetings, right? And so I am to record the written record. Whatever you say, I write it down. Whatever you say, I write it down and create a transcript of that for you. So I found myself sitting in court a lot of times, and even in depositions, when those of us who are not privy to the law, don't have a good grounding foundation to the law, we would go in not knowing how to properly carry ourselves, not knowing how to properly answer questions when it came to the legal arena, because that's just not a place that we've studied much about. The majority of people, even wealthy people, they have not studied that, right? So when our people of color would come in the courtroom, I'm sitting writing down, the judge is asking them questions, and I found myself like trying to help them with the answer. So the judge would say, were you the one that they say was in the store at the time of the crime? And I would be shaking my head like, no, don't you tell them that was you. If they ain't got the evidence, don't you say.
You trying to
I'm,
communicate through
I'm
telepathy.
do you hear me? And they would look at me and they would literally go, no, Your Honor, that wasn't me, right? Because they looked at me and I'm shaking my head like this. Now, mind you, usually nobody's paying any attention to the court reporter. She or he is over off to the side somewhere, just minding their business and taking down the record. But for some reason, you know how it is with us. When we walk in the place and we see somebody of color, we immediately make eye contact. So because of that, they would sometimes look over to me. So when they would do that, I would tell them yes to questions they should be saying yes to, no to questions. And I said, oh my God, Sandy, you need to find something that you can do that you can help people. You're not going to lose your license. You're not going to get yourself in trouble for helping people because they just don't know. I just can't stand by and see somebody doing something knowing that I know something that can help them. So this has been many, many years this is going by, and I didn't know what I was going to do. Well, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan said, I need 2,000 of y'all to agree to go through this process called Dianetics. Yes, I need auditors for our people.
Yes, yes.
Well, I was running a business, a court reporting business at that time. I could not see how in the world I could do this course of study. And Sister Sharien, bear witness to me, because you've done this course of study as well.
Yes,
it ain't no joke.
That's right.
When you start reading this material and you start working out your own stuff, it took me 2 years, Sister Sharien, and this is me running a business, studying, trying to get over to do my work that I had to do to practice, to prove myself worthy to be out to go and audit people, do Dianetics on people. It took me 2 years. to do that, Sister Sharien.
Wow.
So when I finished that,
It was worth it.
it was, oh my
Because I can
God. Do
testify.
you hear me?
Girl,
Because
no.
I was busting up engrams on myself studying this stuff. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute, you know?
Exactly.
So literally, it is all due to the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that really, I did some studying before, but this right here propelled me forward. And from that point, I went looking for an office that I could invite some of the believers, some of the sisters over, that we can do this one-on-one and I can delve into it. And from that, it opened up so much more. I became a Reiki master. I became a bars facilitator. Sister Sharien is a bars practitioner as well. That's what you'll see on the webpage. I began to, so when I started the auditing, I realized that if you come in by yourself and we start working on the things that you have going on in your life, and you are a mother, you are a wife, it directly impacts your family. For your health is directly, you being healthy directly impacts your family. So that led to family counseling. So I'm not a licensed counselor. However, I have to say, with my background in the legal field, with my background studying Dianetics, with my background studying bars, with my background studying family mapping constellation, with my background with all of these different things that I put into practice, and most of them are on the website, I realized how every single thing is connected to the other one. So in saying all of that, that's how I end up doing all of the different things. And I'm a book person. I think that's where we all have a lot in common, Sister Sharien. Sister Sharien is a professional. She's a book person. She reads. She's writing books for children to encourage them to read. Brother Jahi is a reader. He's truly very well versed on a vast number of subjects. He reminds me so much of my father. They called my father the walking dictionary. Brother Jahi is indeed a walking dictionary, because he can almost tell you about any word that you could think of. So I think that's the beautiful connection with all of us we have, because we love to study, we love to read, we love to expand our knowledge. We want to know. That's why we created this Master the Science of Business, Mind Money Matters radio show. This is why, because we want to share with you what it is that we are learning, and then you bring more into this, because we don't know it all. So thank you so much, Sister Sharien, for asking me that question and for sharing the webpage. So now, last thing I want to talk about before I wrap it up and I bring on my lovely, lovely co-host, we have the Inner Chambers Women's Retreat. This retreat, it is true. It has formulated itself. It came as a vision to me. I love working with women because I understand that women, as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, and as the Honorable Minister Farrakhan tells us, when the woman, I'm paraphrasing, these are not his direct words, but this is how I understand it. When the woman rises, it's all over. So my mission has been working with women to inspire them, to help them to be better wives, better mothers, better sisters, better companions, better Muslims, better Christians, better whatever, the best that you can be in a godlike manner. And so this first retreat, annual retreat, is called the Inner Chambers. Why is it the Inner Chambers? Because we're going to go into them places, those places. I said them. Okay, my southernness is coming out. We're going into those places that most people don't want to go. And when we go there, it is going to be so loving. You know, you get to share pieces of yourself that you have not been able to share in this sacred space, in a sacred space before. That's what this is about. We're talking about going into the inner chambers. If you can, we're talking on a medical standpoint. If you can go to the heart, there are 4 chambers to the heart. We're talking about, and my specialty is dealing with the heart, because I speak from the heart and I speak to you heart to heart. So when I'm speaking to you, it's like it's very emotional for me. So the inner chambers is straight going to the heart of the matter as a woman. So the presenters that we have Master William Thomas, who will be talking about ancestral cleansing, that stuff that you just can't seem to get it right, the stuff that it keep coming up generationally. He's going to be talking about how you can nip all that stuff in the bud. That stuff don't have to keep repeating in your life. I'll be talking about energy and how energy flow. We were talking a little bit about plants and animals and the system and how it works. I'll be talking about energy and how it flows, and how when you are in divine alignment, the energy flows exactly where you want it to flow, exactly where you need it to go to manifest the life that you desire to have. And then we have our sister Allison Muhammad, who will be talking about womb care, who will be talking about the sacredness of the womb. Straight, as we are taught in the Nation of Islam, that's the most important aspect of a woman, her womb. And then we'll be having our beloved sister Sylvia Rose, who'll be telling you about your aura. Each one of us carry an aura. You know how you walk inside that room and you pick up the energy of the room. You're like, whoa, I don't know about this. I don't feel right about being, or you meet somebody and you say, oh no, I don't know about this person. There is an energy, there's an aura, there's a field around each and every one of us. And there's an aura to our businesses. People want to be partners with you. People want to do business with you, or they don't want to do business with you. She's going to be talking to us about that and how to read faces. You can look at me, I can look at you. If I don't understand your facial expression and what that means, then I could be telling you the truth, or I can be telling you the non-truth. When you're talking about business, you want to go into a business relationship with someone, you decide whether or not you want to do that based on a face-to-face conversation with them. You can be able to tell whether they're being truthful or whether they're being untruthful. So, and oh my God, it's so many more. These are the main workshops that we're having. We have Sister Sharien that will be doing the third eye mind mapping, the vision boarding. Oh my God, if you've never experienced her, oh, you talking about going to the inner chambers. What? We're talking about meditation, vision boarding, meditation, vision boarding. We're talking about on Saturday night, you'll be in a sacred space. If you have not heard me talk about that, you need to go to my Facebook page, Sandy Beauford Muhammad, request to be a friend. You can see my video talking about the sacredness of Saturday evening. This will be the first retreat. However, it is not the last. Space is limited to 40 participants. If you do not get in on this one, I promise you there is more to come. Sister Sharien is showing the accommodations. Oh my goodness. Where we will be at is out on 110 acres of land. So once you in your workshops, you want to go out, they have hiking, they have a waterfall there. You can do hiking. Oh my God. It's just simply beautiful. We are tremendously grateful to have this opportunity of all these phenomenal people to be a part of this with us. Oh God. I'm just grateful.
I can't wait to go just to see.
So you just want to go and see
a space like this and just, like, I mean, how is it possible to create something like this in my backyard?
It is. All you need is a vision.
Permanent.
All we need is a vision.
Permanent. I need to be able to see water, rocks, and clean air, and
yes. And we want you listening to come. If you know of a woman, if you're not a woman, a sister, you know of a woman that could benefit for something like this, please share this information with her. Please go to soulwisdomintl.com, click on events, click on the Inner Chambers Women Retreat. It's a link right at the top underneath events, and come on and register with us. We have payment plans. The payment plans are still available for those who need the payment plans. In a minute, the whole amount is going to be due. So by January, the whole amount will be due. However, you do have time now. If you need a payment plan, come and call your sister, 770-906-6193. Set up a payment plan. We want you there. Thank you so much, Sister Sharien, for bringing that up for me. And I'm just excited. So I'm so excited that my sister will be there. My sister, Sister Sharien Muhammad. She is the I'm gonna call her the counselor extraordinaire. She's so much more. But she worked with our babies at the high school level. She has worked with my son who's in college. There's been some things, some traumatic things that he's experienced in his life, and we needed Sister Sharien help. And she came with I mean, like a drop of a dime. She was like, no, I can help my nephew. I can help. This is the type of sister that we have on board with us as a partner with Master the Science of Business, Mind and Money Matters radio show. She's an author of 4 books, Why I Wear My Headpiece, Little Elijah, Sweet Khadijah, and the mind management book, Sister Sharien, the mind management book. You have to bring that up for us, please. Yes, there we go. There we go. She is an author. Oh my God. Her books are so beautiful. The graphics in her book, they are worth it. This is not none of that Johnny come lately type of, if you know anything about Sister Sharien, it's got to be right and exact. So that is what she presents to us with every product that she does. She is the producer of our show. She is the advertiser, all the advertisements that you see of our show. She has so many talents, and she's just a loving sister. I am so grateful that she is on board with us. Don't know how we could ever possibly do it without her. My sister, your sister, Sharien Muhammad.
Praise be to Allah. Lord have mercy. I just want to say thank you so much for that beautiful introduction and opportunity to share on this show. Just briefly, just to share with you what we have in store for our young people and teaching them agriculture and getting them used to eating natural foods. There's such a pull on our children to eat junk food, McDonald's. I mean, athletes. I remember when Sister Kavaz, Sandy, we went to a football game and she was thinking, oh, this is a football game. Okay, I'm going to make some. She spent time creating all these little treats that were of natural substances, and no one was really interested because they're eating processed chips and processed drinks, and just because they're athletes, the idea is athletes working out, drinking water, drinking juices, eating fruits and vegetables. That's not the case. It's athletes running the track, running the court, running the field, jumping, leaping, sweating, and all of these things, taxing their heart, taxing all the different organs that Sister Sandy mentioned earlier today. And unfortunately, a lot of them are or I should say some of them have met their fate on these fields and on these courts. And I'm not sure what is the cause of it all. I'm not a medical doctor. We have one coming up and we're going to bring her in. But it's definitely the diet has to be related to it, because they're not getting the proper rest. They're up all night on their devices. And that is a definite trigger or contributor to poor health, lack of rest, lack of hydration, lack of nutrients, and lack of exercise. So although they're athletes and they're getting the exercise, they're missing the other 3: the nutrients, the hydration, proper hydration, and the rest. So I want to bring up what we're going to do is share. Brother Jahi, are you ready to go into that? Share a video. I think they are. So we're going to just share the interview that we did with Sister Dr. Jessica, who was not able to be live with us today. But I tell you, this interview is absolutely powerful. I had it in queue and then okay, here we go. I guess it fell off. But anyways, Sister Dr. Jessica graced us yesterday actually with an interview, and I am going to share it with you right now. Neuropathy, stroke, seizures, and other conditions. Her education includes being a graduate of the University of Illinois at Chicago, UIC, College of Medicine in 2010. She completed an internship year one of residency in internal medicine of Howard University Hospital in Washington, D.C., and then returned to UIC for completion of neurology residency in 2014. She practiced neurology within the Sinai Health System in Chicago for a couple of years before pursuing a fellowship in clinical what is that? Neurophysiology at the Loyola University Medical Center, wherein she acquired skills of interpretation of specialized neurology testing, such as EEGs and EMGs. She then joined the staff of Rush University Medical Center, one of the top institutions for neurological care in the country, where she currently practices. She is currently pursuing her Master's of Science and Clinical Research at Rush University. Like, if being a medical doctor is not enough. Okay. So in her Nation of Islam background, Dr. Muhammad was born and raised in the Nation of Islam by retired MRI technician, Sister Ruby Tu Muhammad. She is a proud member of Muhammad's Mosque number 2, national headquarters of the Nation of Islam. She is a member of the Ministry of Health and Human Services, our feature for this month here on Mind and Money Matters live show. She was formerly a coordinator for Chicago's youth ministry, which allowed her many opportunities for community service and speaking on Sundays. Help me welcome our dear beloved sister, Sister Dr. Jessica L. Muhammad. Woo woo! That's supposed to be like,
yay, 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 yay.
Thank you.
Welcome to our show, Mind and Money Matters live show, representing Master the Science of Business and the Ministry of Trade and Commerce. And our objective is to bring before our audience the representation from the 9 ministries. And each month we focus on one of the ministries. And this month, the month of September, is focused on the Ministry of Health and Human Services. So we are so excited to have you come on and share with us, you know, just a few things about, we can't get it all. We would have to dedicate the whole entire show to you. But welcome.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Brother Jahi, just go ahead and take it away.
We are happy and honored to have you on, Dr. Jessica L. Muhammad. You know, it was funny. I want to thank Sister Kasima for the connect. I reached out to Sister Kasima. I said, I want some representation. And she sent me this list of sisters in particular. This was doing science and technology. And then I saw your name on it. I said, is this the Dr. Jessica that used to teach from Muhammad, from Mos Mariam every Sunday? She said, yes. I'm like, wow, dynamic teacher. So I'm honored. I'm a student of yours. When you were
we're all students of Allah.
Yes, that as well, but dynamic teaching style. I got to give that to you. So I'm honored, and you have been one of our most anticipated guests too. I've told a few people that we're gonna have Dr. Jessica Muhammad on the show. She's a neurologist, and I didn't say. I must admit, I didn't say neurologist at the time. I knew it was something dealing with neuroscience or something like that. And these are people that are into that field that said they want to go into it. They were very happy, like, oh man, brother, please let me know when you're gonna have her on. Please let me know. So you have a huge fan base out there, Dr. Jessica. So again, on behalf of On behalf of Sister Sharien, Sister Sandy, Beauford Muhammad, and myself, we are definitely happy to have such esteemed guests on our platform. And, thinking about health and human services, that's the month that Sister Sharien mentioned that we are showcasing this month on our platform. And to see that you're involved in that ministry,
Yes, sir.
in the ministry, as well as that's what you do for a living. So we're gonna ask you a lot of tough questions, but you are a MD. I'm sure you can handle
We
the
pulling
little
up
questions.
the medical encyclopedia as we speak. Matter of fact, it's on my device.
I'm putting a lot of pressure on me. You know that, right?
Sister, you have a medical degree. I'm sure you can handle pressure. So that's the and you're in the ministry in the Nation of Islam. So at a very young age, because you were a teenager when you were teaching, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you can handle pressure. It won't be hard questions. What we would like to get from you for ourselves and from our for our listening audience is like the path that you were on to lead you to where you are now and where you will go in the future. I want to start off by this. I think it was Sister Sharien or maybe Sister Sandy a couple of weeks ago that asked one of our other guests this. So I want to start out with it. What role does the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan play in you going after this particular career field?
That's a very, very good question. Um, I can remember when I was a teenager, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan sent a call out to the youth, and he wanted to talk to them one on one, as a group, without the interference of adults, essentially. And it was a beautiful, beautiful speech, beautiful words that are available at the final call to this day. And at the conclusion of the presentation or of his words, he actually opened the mic for questions. And of course, you don't want to miss out on an opportunity to ask the man of God a question. So at the time, I was in college. I was, I think, 17 or 18, and I was not exactly sure what my next step should be. And my question in so many words was, should I pursue the thing that seems to come easy for me, which at the time was Spanish. I was very interested in Spanish, in Hispanic culture, and acquiring it was easy and fun for me. But my major was biology, and I had in my mind to become a doctor even at that time. And the gist of his response was that I should pursue, rather, I should approach any subject with the knowledge that I have the ability to master it. So yes, the sciences may be more challenging, but I am biology. I am mathematics. That is who I am. And so therefore, this is a study of me, and I have the potential to master it. He, in addition to that, said that we need to acquire languages. We need to learn. So I took that and I did both.
Okay, wonderful.
So I ended up majoring in biology. I minored in chemistry, and I minored in Spanish.
Oh, wow.
And I have found the combination of that science foundation and also that acquisition of another language has been a tremendous help, because our Black and Hispanic community, we have so much need, and I find those tools to be very useful. So that inspiration and that reminder that I had the potential to master the sciences and to master some of the subjects that would be perceived as more challenging on the road of medical training was certainly an encouragement to me as I embarked and continued on that journey. I think I gained more from my coursework because I pursued it um, with that foundation of supreme wisdom.
Right,
It's
right.
like you open a book and you get more from it than your colleagues who are just getting the surface information. When I'm reading a textbook, it's me and Allah sitting down having a conversation, and Allah just opens
Yes.
up so much more with the information that that one would read as a student in Islam who is also a student in this world's formal education.
Beautiful. When you said that about um, getting more out of your text work because of the foundation of the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I was reminded of a quote that I heard one of the ministers say years ago, is that we should filter everything through the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So we do see things in a different perspective. Albeit I would say a broader, deeper perspective, as you said, not just surface, but like, oh, okay, there's something in the supreme wisdom that talks about
Yeah.
this. So we're seeing it and we're going after it with a stronger, I believe, with a stronger vengeance, and we see it clearer, and also relating it to how we're going to help our people, how we can help our people with this knowledge. So thank you for that. Thank you for that answer. Wow, you got a chance to ask the minister that directly, huh?
Yes. Yes, indeed.
And you actually listened to what he had to say.
Yes.
That's how we get caught up. Like, oh, he's talking to me.
Right.
You
Right.
can blank out.
I gotta listen.
Wonderful. So, and what was the foundation? What I have in mind in asking these questions, is there's some young people that are watching, that are have a thought in mind of what they want to do.
Mhm.
And a lot of times, those of us, depending on the environment they're coming out of, may not know how to nurture that particular thing. You say, you want to be a what? I don't know nothing about that. You
Mhm.
follow what I'm saying? So it could squash that desire. What was some support systems that you had in place? So when you had that thought at an early age that you want to be a doctor, those support systems that help you continue on that path, especially, I'm sure, like in high school, you had to take calculus and advanced biology and things like this. It got challenging, but it's something that support system helped you persevere. What were some of those things?
Um, I, I I certainly wanted to mention that my mother worked in a hospital, not as a
All praises to Allah.
to be in a hospital setting was nothing foreign to me. Um,
Okay.
it was the people behind the scenes in a hospital that were the ones telling me, go sit over there in that corner, wait for your mama, she'll be done in a second. So to be in that setting was never something foreign. And my mother, as well as my grandmother, may Allah be pleased with her, were they emphasized that whatever you choose to do, be the best at it, whatever it is. So if you're going to be the person pushing the broom, doggone it, you push that broom and you make that floor look better than any other person's floor looks, if that's what your role is. So being in a hospital setting, I would say the role that my mother encouraged most within a hospital was doctor. She used to call me doctor. That Dr. J is my family nickname from my mother.
Okay. All right. All
She kind
right.
of spoke it. That might have been a little hypnosis, a little, I don't know. She might have been playing tricks with my mind as a child, but it worked. So
Yeah, she planted that seed.
absolutely,
Your mother is a farmer. She planted that seed and then continued to water it and nurture it.
absolutely.
Wonderful. Great job, Sister Ruby. Great job.
Yes. So it became something that perhaps she wanted for me, but it evolved to something that I wanted for myself. When I
Mm-hmm.
knew, at least had a sense that that's what I desired, of course, prayer playing a very critical role in all of that. Um, Finding opportunities that meshed with my interest. I would say that that helped because while it is nice when you get that encouragement from people to do that, you're going to just as often run into people who say, whew, you want to go to school that many years? Or other negative things that you don't necessarily, it goes right over your head if your mind is set and if your mind is made up. It really resonated with me. There were recent references. I don't remember who was the speaker. I think it was Brother Nuri, um, saying how a seed gets planted in the mind in a negative way, telling us what we can't do or what we're not capable of. I ran into that too. And this is 2019. And as recent as residency, I was told 3 years into my residency, you picked the wrong field.
What?
Really? So I simply say that to say, have a goal in mind, look for opportunities such as people who are doing what it is that you're interested in, programs that allow exposure to the thing that you're interested in. And I think it will naturally unfold. What your next steps are will naturally manifest. I was in programs for science and engineering as a high school student. So going right into college, pre-med clubs that existed, and even within my school, there was the honors college. And in our honors college, there was a large subgroup that were pre-med. So the conversation and the dialogue was always about the organic chemistry test. What's next? Are you studying for your MCAT? So the peers around you they kind of keep you going at a certain
Right.
because
Right.
you look like a slacker if you aren't
Right.
studying for the organic chemistry test. Well, dang, everybody else is, and I may as well. So being selective about who your inner circle is, that's very important as well. You want like-minded people to be around you. Now, if I was with the hang out and, do nothing crowd, then I would have been doing just that, hanging out and doing nothing, because that would have been my norm. But those things helped me, I would say.
Fantastic. What you just talked about is I did a workshop years ago for a group of students, and they wanted me to speak on peer pressure. And we always, for the most part, people look at peer pressure as a negative thing. I came at it from a different angle, from what you just talked about. What peers, your peer is nobility, a noble one. So you surround yourself with people that, hey, we got to ace this organic chemistry class. We have to ace this trigonometry class. We got to ace this advanced algebra class, whatever that is on a higher vibration. I compare it to now when Muslims get together and we're talking about thus saith the Lord. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. Most Honorable Ms. Louis Farrakhan at that lecture in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago, he said da 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 da. So we're putting that pressure on each other, which is positive.
Yes.
Peer pressure does not have to be negative. That's my point. So thank you for highlighting that surrounding yourself with like minds. And Professor Griff of Public Enemy, he says it, and Serious Minds, he says it all the time. What is it, Sister Sharien? Like minds.
Like minds, like mine.
Like minds, like mine.
Oh,
So that's who he surround himself. Right. Surround himself with. So thank you for sharing that aspect for those that are listening. And I said youth or younger people, but it happens for all of us. Absolutely. If we're looking to go to a higher level, we have to surround ourselves with people with peers in particular, who will help us to elevate, keep us going higher instead of on the base level. So I think that those are excellent. So and you decided to go off to an HBCU, a pretty decent one. It's
Howard.
it's no Hampton, but Pretty, still pretty, still pretty decent little school. Uh, we don't fault you. I know everybody's not able to get into Hampton. I understand, but
It was wonderful. I finished residency. I'm sorry, not residency. I finished medical school, excuse me, and I did my internship at
hmm
Howard University Hospital.
wonderful, wonderful.
It was truly a blessed experience. I did not expect to be leaving Chicago, but part of the training for neurology is you're required to do 1 year of internal medicine and 3 years of neurology training. So
hmm
my 3 years of neurology training through the match, which is the system that they've set up where you get assigned, it's an application process, and then there's the match day where you find out what program you'll be doing your training at. And I found out my training was at Washington, D.C. And I'm so grateful
Okay.
this day, I should add, for Sister Liesel. Sister Liesel, who put in a good word for me with the
All praises to Allah.
so I'm so grateful for that. And I'm also grateful for the believers of Washington, D.C., who took really good care of me and showed me so much love while I was in Washington, D.C. It was truly a wonderful
Wonderful.
experience to be there. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, wonderful. And why? So why neurology? In your studying of, you say your undergrad in biology and and minor in chemistry and Spanish.
Hmm.
At what point did you decide that this thing called neurology is what you're going to master?
You know what? I love learning. So I must say, I can't say it was a straightforward decision, but I can say, alhamdulillah, it was the right decision. But when I was doing my medical school rotations, I loved pretty much every rotation, and I would go through my OB-GYN rotation and say, this is it, this is me, I can do this for the rest of my life. And then I'd go into the next rotation and I can say, no, this is it, this is me, I can do this for the rest of my life. And I did that pretty much for most of the rotations. And so then I had to think about, again, Minister Farrakhan's words and the messenger's words about it, when you think about your purpose, it's the thing that comes naturally to you. It's effortless. You just naturally do it. And science to me is not something that comes natural. So thus the confusion, part of the confusion. But when I thought about the topics, when grades didn't matter, when money wasn't a thought, the thing that would keep my interest as a child was the power of the mind. I was very much into telekinesis and all that weird stuff. I was
now
fascinated by it.
Sister Sandy had to step away, but I wish that I'm like, because that is like her passion right now.
Yes.
The
It is
science of the
fascinating.
mind, the energy,
Yes.
all of
Yes.
She
And the
would be
powers of
chiming
the
in
mind.
right now.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
The
ma'am.
namaste,
We're on the same
all
page.
of those things. Yes. So go right ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Be sure and tell my sister that we are on the same page. It's absolutely fascinating. But that was where my interest lay before, it even mattered. I'm talking as a child. I was 9 years old going to the library asking for books about that.
Mm-hmm.
So when I thought about where my interest lay at that time, I realized, well, mind is housed inside of a brain. So I could not really see myself pursuing psychiatry because while mental health is a very, very critical issue, it's not the thing that I inclined toward. But the functions of the different parts of the brain seemed to be something that clicked very well with me. Fast forward to later on in my life, the exposure that I received to imaging as far as seeing tons of MRIs because of my mom's job, and seeing CTs because she used to be a tech for CT before MRI. So I had at least a little bit of exposure, not necessarily with the thought of career in mind.
And for the audience, just in case someone doesn't know what a CT is.
So these are different modalities of specialized imaging to take pictures of the brain or to take pictures of the body. CT uses, it's a form of radiation type of imaging, whereas MRIs are magnet based, and yeah. So, and that's used for taking pictures of, for example, the brain. And so seeing those pictures and putting pictures together with function, it just seemed really fascinating to me. And I wasn't necessarily someone who enjoyed sitting through formal school lectures and classes. I was more of a hands-on kind of person. But you could put any person in any setting talking about a brain or an MRI, and I am just on the edge of my seat. So that was a clue to me that that was something that I was well suited to do. I have family members who have neurologic conditions of different types, who have been affected by neurologic conditions. And naturally, that was a part of the decision to become a neurologist. But on the advice of, I'll say, a mentor, a professor, when I mentioned that as my reason as I was trying to make my decision, I was told that's not good enough. You have to do it for you, not for someone else, which is why I don't start off saying that that's the number one reason. It certainly was an influence as far as, my family, but my own interests is what let me know that neurology is something that I could be happy pursuing and investing my life in.
Excellent. I'm thinking when you mentioned the point, I'm just thinking of I work in schools and I do the mental health type thing, a professional school counselor. And so, I was fascinated as a child with the why people do the things that they do, and what makes you inclined towards something that is harmful to you,
Right.
Growing up around addicts and seeing the drive to get that fix again, and it's putting sores in your body, all over your body. You look awful. You seem like you're in pain. Like, what is that that's making you want to do that? So I ended up in that field of psychology. So I do understand that whole passion thing. But there was something that you talked about when you said, I prefer working with my hands, doing things with my hands, right? The technical side of things. And as a professional school counselor, you get the lash, if so to speak, or the resistance. I'm going to use that term. That's a better term. By parents in particular towards children who are interested in doing things with their hands, because in their minds, they're thinking, that's blue collar, one. That's a job that ends in a lot of pain and anguish, and like they don't see it as a progressive, modern day opportunity. For growth and development. They just don't see it that way, and so it's like the marketing of universities and colleges have been so successful and pulling people into liberal arts like degrees, but majoring in the minor things, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said. And so to see you or hear you say that I love working with my hands more so than listening to a lecture. And here you are, a medical doctor, a neurologist, right? And so that is I think is so important for others to hear, that just because I like working with my hands doesn't mean I'm gonna be oily, greasy, and dirty, rolling up, like you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, make it
right, so now we can see your young, beautiful face looking clean and and happy.
Yes.
Doing what you want. It doesn't mean that you were stuck playing with Legos. It means that you still had to study vocabulary. You still had to study mathematics. You still had to learn formulas and learn all the parts of the body and bones and their functions, and you know what I mean? but you thrived on having the opportunity to do something with your hands.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I'm just grateful that you made that statement, because I think it can help to dismiss some myths that some of us may have with working with the hands.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, because we may see it as some, and I'm not trying to put down any blue collar career or business, because all of us drive cars. We all need plumbing. We all need electrician. We all need carpentry.
Right.
I mean, you know, I look at these, you know, those who do that in amazement. So thank you very much for mastering those crafts.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Right. So I'm not putting that down either. But I'm just saying you can do something with your hands with the on the level that you're doing it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
sharing that. And the question that I have for you, and dealing with young people, you know, because you were teaching even as an adolescent, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And if I could correct myself, I think I was early 20s, early to mid 20s at that time.
Oh, okay. So you were not quite a teenager.
Right. I think I might have, it went into the 20s.
Like, well, adolescence is up to 22.
Well, there you go.
So anyways, and dealing with young people, what do you find to be the most effective way to help them along their journey towards finding themselves, their passion, their purpose, any, you know, challenges that they may have to get over that bridge into adulthood? What do you find to be the most helpful?
Well, it seems to me that young people seek self-expression. We often approach them like, I have the answer, you need to listen. But I would definitely say the experience of working with youth has shown me, no, they have the answer. And fortunately, my own life experiences can help me to cultivate that answer out of them, but they have the answer. So allowing self-expression through the types of activities that they incline toward, and encouraging them to give pause. Okay, you had fun. What was it about that you enjoyed? So that they don't think that, or so that they look past the moment. They may not be able to see the bigger plan and the bigger picture, but to a certain degree, I think we sometimes sell them short. So that's one thing I would encourage is simply not necessarily trying to make someone over into you or me, as much as recognizing that they possess so many positive and wonderful things, and just allow the opportunity through dialogue, through time and experiences, for those things to manifest. I think that's an effective way to approach young people.
I totally agree. And I think that part of what happens with many of us is, you know, we've been stifled for so long. And then, you know, I'm talking about as a people now, right? So as a people, we've been stifled. And so we you know, it's like we're still stuck in that, trying to develop beyond the developmental stages of life. Although you're developing throughout your entire life, but there's a period of time when you're in that preparatory stage, that developmental stage of becoming this adult that you want to become. And we have a lot of adults that are still kind of trapped back in those developmental stages because they didn't have the opportunities to get it out, to really, you know, so now they have children themselves, but, you know, we're still trying to develop ourselves in the midst of, we need to pause now and develop our children, which is a part of developing the self as an adult, like going through that activity of rearing children and taking care of a home and all that. It develops more in you, right? So I think, you know, what you're saying, I can 100% agree with, and I've witnessed it. I even participated in that, where when my children were young, I was in school full time, working full time. I was still developing me while I was also rearing children. And so my children missed out on having a full time mom because I was so busy, doing those things that I felt like I needed to get done, so that they can have a life that I wanted them to have. So, absolutely, I can agree 100%. I love the way you made the statement of they are seeking to express
Yes.
themselves, right? And given the opportunity to express. And when you said, so you were having fun. So what was it about that? That's making them have to think now,
Right.
calling them to their thoughts. And it's also teaching you who they are, where they are. So as a parent or a guardian or adult figure in their lives, you can now help to guide them toward what they actually really is enjoying in that activity that can give them some fruit in life.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, what is there anything that you would like to share with our young people that you can say in addition to what you have said, because you said a tremendous amount. You
Alhamdulillah.
Yes, you have. I think, in a very succinct way. You talked about what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said to you, which has to deal with you approaching that which you. I'm not quoting, even though I did write it down, but that you are approaching that which you are your pursuit of whatever that is, with the thought in mind that you have the ability to master it. That is the complete opposite of insecurity. That's the complete opposite of doubt and fear. It's like, I know I can do this. And the fact that you talked about being not necessarily feeling like science came natural. And so that can give you the doubt of, I don't know if this is really my passion.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right, but rising, meeting and overcoming that thought, because you had wisdom in your ear.
Yes, ma'am.
So one of the advices is definitely listen to the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan.
Amen. Yes, ma'am. It'll save your life.
Right. And take advantage of any opportunity you may have to sit your children in front of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to get the opportunity to ask the question that they have burning on their hearts and minds. Absolutely. So, what would you want to give to young people in addition, based on your observation of the ills of this world and what we see our children being immersed in? What would you say you want to give them that can help them get through that they are immersed in, that's designed to tear them down?
I think that much of what we can achieve, if it pleases Allah, has to do with our own decision to succeed. If I could reference what we already discussed, as far as the influence of peers, I made a decision who my peers were going to be. Let's rewind back before that decision. When I went to college, it's college. It's college. Yeah, you're a Muslim. Okay, but it's college. I ain't trying to hear that. So I'll say there was a season where I was figuring out the kind of woman that I wanted to be in the midst of my Islam. I would say that I realized I did not feel, I'll use as a good example my choice of attire. I was not. When I started on campus, I was not walking around with my headpiece, head high. Well, maybe my head was high. Either way, because we got that MGT swag
That's
regardless.
right. That's right. That's right. Like I
But,
already know.
but my choice
I'm
at the
making the
time,
owner the cream of the planet Earth.
right? Like we can't fake that. You can't hide that under a bushel basket.
That's
But
right.
but suffice it to say, some of my choice of attire was not becoming of an MGT.
Mhm.
But if I was disrespected, I didn't like the disrespect. So I had to give pause for myself and decide, okay, I want, or I would feel bad because even if we go outside of what we know to be appropriate or our norm, we don't necessarily go out to the extreme that some do. And so I had to give pause and recognize I'm not comfortable outside of um, our standard. It isn't even comfortable for me. So why would I want to twist my standard into a form that would make me feel comfortable in that kind of setting or in that kind of attire? And so that is what caused me to incline to spend more time at the mosque because I wanted to be in a setting where my standard was the standard of beauty. That helped me. So that was a choice. That was a very conscious, I'm not even going there kind of thing. The same with the kind of peers that I wanted to be around. Um, College has a reputation for being a place where alcohol is popular. And I remember someone saying, beer is an acquired taste. Why is that a taste I would even want to acquire?
Because it's
So
nasty.
I made the conscious decision.
Yes.
That's not going to be me.
That's right. That's right.
So I would encourage young people to decide who you want to be. You may not be there right now, but decide realistically who you want to be, and then let your decisions be made based on that. If you say you want to go to college, but you aren't even doing your homework, that means your actions are not lining up with what you say you want. So making a decision about what you want, taking the steps in the direction of what you want, I would say that is the best way to start. And Allah will really just put things, people, and opportunities in your path. You'll trip over opportunities accidentally because Allah will reward you for the things you, I'll say sacrifice, but it's really not a sacrifice because it's for your own well-being. But the things you don't do and the influences that you don't allow to grab you and pull you the wrong way, Allah will reward you for staying on the straight and narrow and will open other opportunities up for you and will guide you. I do not know what the larger plan is for my own life. As we mentioned, I just got enrolled in school again.
I know. That's right. Oh my God. Even doctor doing a master's program. Hello.
But I'm almost finished, alhamdulillah, with a master's program because now I'm realizing, now that I've got the medical degree, I had the opportunity to practice long enough to recognize that this isn't it. There's more to this that I desire to give to my community and get for myself. And I realized that research is another needed piece. We're needed in research. So I don't want to just practice the medicine and practice implementing plans devised by a group of elderly Caucasian neurologists who got together and said, this is how you treat a stroke. No, I want to be able to do my own research, come up with my own innovations that will absolutely be helpful to the rest of the world, but we've got to be thinkers, not just exercising someone else's plan. So point being, I am even now discovering another stage and another step that Allah has for me. As long as we stay, I won't say in alignment with Him, even though that's the best way to go, but There are times when we go left and we go right, but if we're at least trying to hear his voice in the midst of our journey, he will absolutely guide you.
Excellent. I have one last question. I know Brother Jahi have questions, but this question has to deal with your testimony
Yes,
and
ma'am.
your testimony of your experience um, with the teachers of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You know, the way we are taught to eat, from how to eat to live, the way we are taught to think, you know, from how to eat to live, and message to the black man, our Savior has arrived, you know, the way we are taught. How have you witnessed our teachings or lack thereof in
Mm.
the field of neurology that if our teachings were implemented, we could avoid?
Yes, ma'am. Excellent question. One of the things that neurologists manage is stroke. Um, and there are different kinds of stroke, but the most common type of stroke is ischemic, where a blood vessel is blocked and it causes a compromise in blood supply to a certain part of the brain. And then that part of the brain essentially dies off. So the function that that part of the brain had is lost. That's essentially a stroke. Um, but the blood vessel, the things that cause those blood vessels to become, or that blood vessel to become closed off, are changes that take place in large part over time through diet choices. So, high cholesterol, high sugar, high blood pressure, which I'll add is a result of high salt in the diet sometimes or oftentimes, play a very, very strong role in putting a person at risk for suffering a stroke. And we have a very high percentage of incidence of stroke, particularly in the Black community. Um, so certainly diet choices and eating to live, that is absolutely critical. And it is something that I emphasize to my patients on a regular basis because it plays such an important role in overall well-being. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Excellent, excellent. I'm sorry, I got a message on my phone.
No worries.
It's like other things are going on, but yes, absolutely. You know, and that's basically what I wanted to, you know, hear, because you know a lot of times we may not see the value
Yes, ma'am.
in our teachings, and you know many of us are getting caught up with other, you know, whatever the in vogue thing is, whether it's Atkins or I
Right.
don't even know what it is now, but you know, like all these kale shops popping up, and it's like this is like a direct opposite to the teachings, right? So we're taught
Mhm.
not to eat this, not to, you know, but then now it becomes a trend, you
Right.
know, that the messenger told us, or he tells us in How to Eat to Live, absolutely no soy. Soy is in everything.
Yes, ma'am.
You know what I mean? So,
Definitely.
um, not realizing until oftentimes it's too late,
You're right.
you know, that these things that the enemy has given us, packaged in beautiful packaging,
Mhm.
is to our demise.
Yes, ma'am.
And that the teachings are one, well, it says very near correct, but you know, we might as well say 99.9999999
Right. Right. Right.
correct, right? And so anything else is negative
Yes, ma'am.
correction, right? So it's not correct, it's incorrect. And we are suffering because we're disobedient.
Right.
I mean, you know, what is it? Hard headed, stiff necked, and rebellious.
Right.
And
Yes,
so,
ma'am.
when we go to the doctor and we get a sign, or we get a sign from our bodies because it's telling us something is wrong, when we know, okay, that something is attributed to something that we're eating and or thinking. And so if we correct that in time, right? Because some damage, as you said, with the brain, with the stroke, I mean, that was so graphic the way you described that. Like, okay, a part of that brain dies, and when that brain dies, it doesn't come back.
Right.
Correct? From what I
Yes.
understand about brain cells, once they die, they are dead
Yes.
forever, right? And what I mean by that, of course, when it dies, anything, but some things regenerate. Does the brain cells regenerate? Does it?
Well, nerve cells are highly, highly specialized. There are, you've heard of stem cells, which is essentially a cell that is so unspecialized that it could evolve and become a nerve cell. But once specialized like a nerve cell, once it has its own function, what I sometimes tell my patients is nerves are kind of like that person at your job who does the job that no one else can do, and that person is totally on top of doing whatever that function is or playing whatever that role is. But let's say they call in sick. Now all hell breaks loose, pardon my French, because other people will try to imitate what that particular person did, but they can't do it perfectly. And the same is true if we have injuries such as stroke. There's a part of the brain that, yes, it's been damaged beyond repair, but there are other areas that try to compensate for what the injured area did that it can no longer do. They can't do it perfectly. So a person who, for example, suffers the kind of stroke that gives them numbness, they may say they feel something, it feels weird, but it doesn't feel normal. Well, that's their body's attempt to make up for the loss of function, but it can't do it perfectly. So nerves are a very, 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 very specialized set of cells.
Wow, I did not know that. Did you know that, Brother Jahi?
I didn't.
Did not. Wow.
We're being taught today.
I'm like, wow, I did not realize that. So that's why when a person suffers a stroke, well, I guess if it's something, because see, now I'm thinking, you have those who suffer strokes and they come out of it and they virtually unscathed to our, layman eyes or, observance, right? And then you have those that go through a stroke and obviously they're limping on one side or, they're missing certain, so they have actually lost a vital functioning nerve versus someone who may have lost a nerve that is not used as much or not used as visibly to us as
it's more so about where the stroke occurred, because it could be a very, very small area, but that very, very small area might carry some very important information. Or it could be even more sizable, but it might be sizable in an area that doesn't manifest as obviously in the function that it does. And that makes a big difference. On top of that, for some people, when a person suffers a stroke, there's swelling in the immediate time period after a stroke is suffered. So some of what you're seeing is actually the swelling, not the area that's lost. So there's the core area where there's not blood, but then there's the area outside of that area called the penumbra, where blood supply is not circulating as well, but it's not all the way gone. And then, of course, there's swelling going on in the area as well because there's been injury and the body knows it. And that's the body's natural response to injury. So, yes, there's a spectrum of how strokes can manifest.
Wow. Now, you said most of which is due to high sodium. What would be some other causes?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
You said most of which strokes are due to high sodium, a high salt diet. So I'm thinking, what are some other causes other than this high sodium?
So strokes, there are certain things that are common risk factors. Of them, high blood pressure is pretty high on the list. And high blood pressure for many people is fueled by having too much sodium in their diet. Diabetes is another contributor to strokes. High cholesterol is a strong contributor to strokes as well. Some people have a disposition toward well, I guess that's more of a specialized situation, but some people who have autoimmune conditions like lupus, they can be at risk for strokes as well, but that's not as common. I would say the most common are the three that I just mentioned. Hmm.
Hmm. Interesting, interesting. I'm fascinated. You know,
It's
I,
a fascinating field.
I'm really fascinated by the whole thing, and you pursuing it at such a young age, and being a representation and making use of our teachings and being able to be a witness bearer.
Yes,
A
ma'am.
lot of times the honorable minister, as far I mean, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, pardon me, just said don't do it. Absolutely no nuts, right? But then it wasn't like a explanation of what nuts can do and how it breaks down and how it affects. And it's like, well, they have high protein, like soy is high and all of these wonderful things, but then you find out, oh, it's too potent. It has too much of this, too much of that,
Yes, ma'am.
and it's causing cancer and excessive estrogen and all of these other things, growing breasts where they should not be grown and stuff like that.
Right. Yes,
Right.
ma'am. You're right. I think maybe at a certain stage of our development as a nation, we probably didn't even have enough knowledge to ask questions. So he gave us what we needed at that time. And
Right.
then with time, science has revealed that he's absolutely 100% on point. With using soy as an example, I read in my college textbook
Mm.
that soybeans inhibit certain digestive enzymes from working, pure soybeans.
Wow.
Um, and there are some people, because it influences estrogen receptors, women, for example, with certain types of breast cancer are discouraged from eating soy. So these are things, I mean, the science is there. And by Allah's grace, he's revealing that science to this world to back up. And I mean, we don't necessarily do it, but I mean, the messenger really could just sit back and say, "Told you so." Like, wait, you know. But yeah, the science is
Absolutely.
absolutely there. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Wow. Brother Jahi.
Yes, Doctor. Okay, there it is. I want to thank you again for indulging us. I had a time when I first made contact with you, but as you can see, we totally exceeded that time. So we are appreciative of what you're sharing. I only have one question,
Yes, sir.
one last question, but it's in 7 parts. Okay, so
Uh-oh.
are, are, are you a member of AMA, NMA, or any associative type medical organization? Uh, and if so, how do you see those associations corresponding with your work in the Ministry of Health and Human Services? And what type of programs? I think you mentioned, I was going to say alluded to, but you actually mentioned with the research, doing your own research, not just waiting on or going off of the research of a group of old white men from 40 years ago. Um, Contact information for you. So those that are watching, if they want to reach out and get more information about that particular field, and when is the next time you're going to be teaching on a Muhammad mosque rostrum, either in Chicago or some other part of the country?
Yes, sir. Well, in answer to question number one, I am not currently a member of AMA or NMA. However, I would say that earlier in my training, I was very much involved in the Student National Medical Association, which is the student branch of the NMA, which is the National Medical Association, an organization that is essentially the African American physicians in America. Um, More recently, I have exerted energy toward working with the SNMA chapters, but I have not myself gotten involved at the level of the NMA. I do think that Black physicians across the country, in and outside of NMA, we have potential. I think we would benefit from guidance from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I think that there is a lot of work and a lot of effort at the grassroots level. The benefit of NMA is its potential to have influence with policy, because it is an organization that is at least representative of a body of physicians that are speaking on behalf of the voice of our communities. That's what it's supposed to be. Um, I do not know, and I'm not involved enough to say if we are actually exerting that influence, but I absolutely can say that the Student National Medical Association is, uh, um, the chapters that I have encountered have been very actively involved in activities for recruitment to bring more young people that look like us into the field of medicine, mentoring, and also serving the community with health fairs and screenings for blood pressure and things of that nature. Here in Chicago, several of the Student National Medical Association chapters, Northwestern being one of them, Rush University Medical Center another, Loyola another, soon University of Illinois at Chicago, and also University of Chicago, have played a role in reaching out with Muhammad University of Islam students. And there have been visits to Chicago's MUI. There have been visits wherein Chicago's MUI students have gone to their campuses. They have trained the students on skills of taking blood pressures, things like that. So I would say SNMA certainly is very active and has great potential for exerting influence. As for contacting Sister Jessica, my email address is jessicawilsonmd@gmail.com. That's JESSICAWILSONMD@gmail.com. As for speaking, I am semi-retired from speaking at the mosque, mainly because I want my actions to speak louder than my words. But inshallah, at some point in the future, when I feel like Allah has put something in my heart to say, I will absolutely be, inshallah, able to share that on the very, very sacred podium of Muhammad's Mosque. In the meantime, my prayer is that my actions will make me worthy of that honor.
All praise is due to Allah. One last point, with the number of brilliant minds that we have in the Nation of Islam that are doctors. And here in Atlanta, we have Dr. Miata, who attended the Latin American School of Medicine. Mm-hmm. Last week, we had Sister Naira out of Detroit, or suburb of Detroit, on. She's a current student there. And I know there's several other doctors. As a matter of fact, there's another brother I understand in Chicago. I'll be reaching out to him, yes, who's a doctor. The feasibility of having a NOI medical association under the banner of possibly Health and Human Services.
I think it kind of already exists.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not necessarily under that label. Mm-hmm. But there have been active efforts to know that we exist, so that each of us is aware that the other exists. And mm-hmm. we do have physicians and medical professionals of various types within.
Absolutely. I forgot, we have Dr. Keeley. He's been on our show several times down in Houston.
Yes.
And who else? We've had it, and I'm pleasantly pleased, as you said, not just doctors, but in every aspect of the medical. We have several EMSs.
Mhm.
There's that tactical team made up of EMSs from all over the country. I mean, it is absolutely fantastic to
Yes,
see the
sir.
brilliance among us.
I can say that I have been blessed to meet or know of um, an anesthesiologist and an ICU physician, multiple OB gynecologists, family medicine, emergency medicine, orthopedic surgery, and if I didn't already say emergency medicine, sorry, I think I said that twice, and of course neurology. So we in there, y'all. All of those, all of those are specialties represented within the Nation of Islam, and that certainly is not the extent of it. That's just the folks that I know. But yes, we are absolutely. We exist, we should know one another, and we are in communication within Ministry of Health and Human Services. But yes, sir, you make a very strong point in saying that. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, and I agree. Those of again like minds, similar professions should know each other. But one of the reasons why we started this platform almost 5 years, well, 4 years ago for the speaking, for the podcast, 5 years ago for the strategic business aspect, is so that we can do our part in highlighting the general public, the general citizen of the Nation of Islam and the broader Black community need to know that that you all exist.
Yes, sir.
So this is our way of doing it. That's why we're asking all of you who are watching to please hit the share button, hit the like button, comment, and spread the word. Let others know. And I'll end on this point. Please forgive me if I going too long or babbling. But I saw a post on Facebook, and I've cut back on Facebook. It's like I'm fasting from Facebook now because it's just too much. It's too much for me right now. But there was a post from a brother who's a believer, and he was lamenting about the lack of what he see from his perspective about um, us teaching mathematics and science. But I had to correct them, and from my perspective, there's tons of people out here. Just because you don't know them or we're not looking or in a broad spectrum, like we always comparing ourselves to other communities. He compared us to like the East Indian community. They doing this, they doing that. Okay, I grant you, I'm not taking that away, but you can't say we're not doing anything. So I ran down a list of, we've been doing this show 3 years, 9 months. We've had over 300 guests appear
I love
on
it.
this show from every aspect of human life, all under the banner of the nine ministries. So we can't say that we don't exist. That's my point. So, and I'm saying that for those who may be having the same thought. Well, and yes, we definitely got a lot more work to do, but let's start on the foundation that there are those, whatever it is that we need, that we're looking for, we have it in our nation. Whatever it is, we have somebody, not just have it, but someone that's like the master of it, that's the tops in their field. So let's start there and build on it. Instead of saying we don't have this, let's ask the question, who knows someone that is doing this? So
Well
that's me.
said.
Let
Yes,
me
sir.
get out. Let me get off my soapbox. Thank you again. We're honored to have you
I
grace
am.
us on Mind and Money Matters live show. And I know this one, we'll probably get 1 million views with this one because everybody gonna know Dr. Jessica is representing. So may Allah continue to bless you in your
Thank
endeavors.
you. Thank
We wait,
you.
we wait. We got a couple of dollars that we can contribute toward that lab when you get ready to
Alhamdulillah.
fundraise. And when I say a couple of dollars, I literally mean a couple of dollars.
Well, good looking out. Good looking out.
So, but much success, continued success to you, and we look forward to meeting you in person and to hearing one of your lectures or sitting in on one of your medical seminars, whatever it is. And if there's anything that we can do to help you and your endeavors, please just reach out to us.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. And thank you once again for the invitation. I'm honored.
All praise is due to Allah. The honor is ours. Sister Sharien, want to close us out?
All praises due to Allah. Listen, I know, Brother Reginald and Sister Christina got some burning questions they want to ask. But guess what? You're going to have to ask us because we had to pre-record this one right here. But anyways, we're going to jump into the live show right after this.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, family. Oh my goodness, that was phenomenal. Oh my God, Sister Jessica gave us so much in that interview. I have to have my daughter who wants to study neurosurgery. She wants to be a neurosurgeon.
Wow,
Yes,
really?
I've got to. Yes, sir. I've got to have her watch this interview. Oh wow, I missed it. That's all right. That's all right. We gonna have sister on the show again. And we're gonna do a part 2 to this because as soon as she finish up her master degree, she gonna come back and give us some more stuff on top of
Right,
her doctorate degree. I tell you.
right, right.
So yeah. So okay, so is that it for the show or what we doing next?
I think that's a wrap.
All right then. Well, hey, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all hanging in here with us as that was a pre-recorded show. Can't take any questions from you today. With reference to Sister Jessica, but it was a wealth of information. Write those questions down. When we have her on the show again, you'll be able to come on with those questions. We're just so grateful. And there was one thing that I forgot to announce, Brother Jahi. In
Go
two
ahead.
weeks, in 2 weeks, let me grab it. Hold on one second. Let me grab my day timer because this is something that you had shared with me, Brother Jahi, and that is we got the Black Dot Festival coming up in 2 weeks
Oh,
on
thank you
the
for that.
27th.
Right.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
see, 28th, I believe. That's a Saturday, right?
Yes, 28th. That's correct.
Saturday, September 28th. We're taking
Yes,
over
sir.
downtown Lithonia, Georgia. We're shutting it down for the first annual Black Dot Cultural Arts Festival. So
Yes,
if you
yes,
are in the uh, skills profession, crafts profession, and you would like to display your wares, give us a call at 404-438-3156 or email us at mindmoneyshow@gmail.com so we can send you the vendor application and answer your questions. But yeah, thank
yes,
you for mentioning
yes,
that. From 1 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m.
yes, yes.
downtown Lithonia, Georgia.
Absolutely. And the last thing I want to talk about is also that same weekend, Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th, the Auburn Avenue, Sweet Auburn Avenue Music Festival will be that weekend. We will be down there with our table, with our wares, our shea butters, our natural products. So please come check us out. And the music, I'm telling you, it's a crowded event, y'all. Make sure
Do
you
you all
bring your
have your spot
hats.
yet? You know where
Yes,
your spot is
sir.
going to be? Let
Yes,
them
sir.
know. So, it's a big
Oh, we'll be
festival.
right
So,
underneath the bridge from the stage. So if
okay.
you are at the stage, right, walk right underneath the bridge, and you will see us on the right hand side. On the right hand side of
Avenue,
underneath the bridge.
on the bridge on Auburn Avenue.
Yes. Yeah. Well, actually, is they don't do Auburn Avenue anymore because the trolley comes. It's the street
Right,
right.
right.
Yeah. It's the street right behind. Trust me, you will definitely see it. Whole lot of
Okay.
music, whole lot. We used to do the historical Auburn Avenue, but the trolley is there, so we do one street over, and I forget the name of that, but it's still named the Sweet Auburn Avenue Festival.
Beautiful. Oh, a quick tidbit. Did you know that Reverend Hosea Williams was one that started the Sweet Auburn Business
I did
Association
not
and
know
subsequently
that.
the Auburn Avenue Sweet Auburn Festival?
I did not know that, Brother Jahi. Thank you so much for sharing that with
Yes,
me. I
yes.
did not know that.
Look them up, brothers and sisters. Reverend Hosea
Absolutely.
Williams.
I'm telling you, that brother, we got to have them back on the air too, talking about what it is that they still do every week, every month, still serving our communities. So, yeah, we are so grateful for Mr. Reverend Jose Williams and his service, and his family is continuing on that legacy. That's
Yes, sir.
generational right there. That's powerful. That's powerful. All right,
Yes, sir.
Sister Sharien, I'm knocking on the phone. Wake up. You there? She's somewhere. You gotta close his house.
No, I'm letting y'all do that. Y'all do that.
Okay, well, good.
I've been listening.
Okay, praise be to Allah. Well, that's it for Mind Money Matters radio show. Same time, same place next week. Tune in. Continuing with the Ministry of Health and Science next Monday. Forgive me. Love y'all. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. What's up, Hotep, and all of that good stuff.
And so, Wisdom International.